Let me start by saying I didn't think I'd ever be that guy. You know, the one posting his life unraveling like some Netflix drama. But here we are. My wife, Jenna, and I have been married for 6 years. No kids, decent house, joint savings, pretty stable life, or so I thought. She works in marketing, I work in IT. Our lives never felt exciting, but I always assumed boring meant safe. Predictable. Solid. Then suddenly, bam, Jenna started traveling for work more. Like, a lot more. Once every 2 months turned into twice a month. She'd claim it was always some conference in Chicago or Atlanta or wherever the hell marketers gather to discuss color palettes and hashtags. I didn't think much of it at first. Hell, I even encouraged her. Go network, I'd say, like an idiot. But then I started noticing weird shit. First, she became obsessive about her phone. Like, sleep with it under the pillow level. Second, she started dressing up way more than usual when she traveled. Heels, red lipstick, lacy bras I hadn't seen in months. She said she wanted to feel confident and empowered. Okay, then came the receipts. I was doing our taxes and stumbled on a folder she must have forgotten to hide. Inside were 2 hotel receipts, not from chains her company usually books, but luxury hotels. Think marble bathtubs, champagne on arrival, couple spa packages. The name on one of the receipts wasn't even hers, it was his. A guy named Aiden. I recognized the name from one of her Zoom calls. Just a coworker, she had said, laughing when I asked why he kept calling her after work. I should have confronted her. Instead, I played dumb and waited. A week later, she told me she had another conference in Dallas. I smiled and kissed her goodbye. Then I bought a plane ticket. And what I found, let's just say I'm not sure I'll ever look at her, or our marriage, the same way again. I landed in Dallas a few hours after Jenna. She thought I had work meetings all week. I'd even scheduled fake calendar events and left early that morning with a packed laptop bag to sell the illusion. I told her, "Hope your conference goes great, babe." She smiled and said, "Love you." That was the last lie I needed to hear. I stayed at a Holiday Inn across the street from her hotel, the Camden Grand, a place you don't stay unless someone's either paying you or screwing you. I watched from my room with binoculars, don't judge, as she stepped out of a cab in a tight navy dress I hadn't seen before. She looked good, really good, like the version of her that used to get ready for our anniversaries. But she wasn't doing that for me anymore. 10 minutes later, Aiden showed up. I recognized his smug face immediately. Tall, fake tan, business casual slimeball. He carried her suitcase up the steps like her personal bellhop. They didn't even pretend to keep distance. His hand was on her lower back like he owned it. She kissed him before they reached the elevator. That was it. Proof. Visual confirmation. My heart dropped like a lead weight, but part of me just felt numb. I watched them disappear, then waited. Later that night, I went to the front desk and used the oldest trick in the book. "Hey, I'm surprising my wife Jenna for her birthday. She checked in earlier today, room 932, right?" The woman glanced up. "Yes. Would you like us to send something up?" No. Just wanted to be sure I had the right room," I said with the fakest smile of my life. I walked away and waited until around 1 a.m. Then I took the elevator to the 9th floor. I stood outside 932, heart pounding. I could hear soft music, and then, laughing. Her laugh. That flirty, annoying giggle she used to save just for me. It was followed by something else. Moaning. Not subtle, either. The kind that makes you want to punch a wall. I recorded it on my phone. Not because I wanted to hear it again, but because I knew I'd need evidence for what came next. I didn't knock. Not yet. I needed to see how far this rabbit hole went. What I found out over the next 48 hours would blow this whole thing wide open. She wasn't just cheating on me. She was funding their sexcapades with our joint savings. Back in my hotel room, I stared at the ceiling for what felt like hours. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Jenna in that dress. On that bed, moaning for another man. The next morning, I went through our bank statements, something I usually only glance at once a month. This time, I combed through every transaction. That's when the second betrayal hit me. Flights booked under his name. Spa packages. A luxury watch store in Miami. Multiple charges from restaurants in cities I'd never even heard her mention. And the worst part? Most of the charges were coming from our joint account. The account we built together over 6 years. The one we agreed to use for our future. House renovations, vacations, maybe IVF if we ever got to that point. She was blowing thousands on this prick, and she thought I'd never notice. I screenshot everything, categorized it, color-coded it. I wanted a record of every dollar she'd stolen from me to fund her little work conference fantasies. By noon, I had a PDF file labeled evidence_Jenna_affair_financials. PDF sitting in my Dropbox. Around 4 p.m., I walked into the Camden Grand's lobby with a coffee in hand and sat down across from the elevators. I didn't try to hide. I just waited. At 5:12 p.m., there they were, hand in hand. She looked radiant. He looked smug. They walked right past me, and I swear to God, she didn't even flinch. That told me everything I needed to know. I didn't just lose a wife. I lost a partner who'd already emotionally moved on. A woman who could walk past her husband, the man who paid for half the damn hotel she was staying in, and not even blink. She didn't know I was watching, but I did. And now it was time for the next step. I booked an appointment with a divorce attorney that night. The meeting was scheduled for Monday morning. That night, I didn't sleep. Again, my stomach was twisted, like it was digesting broken glass. But there was a strange clarity that came with the pain. I wasn't confused anymore. I wasn't wondering if she was cheating. I knew. I had proof. I had receipts, audio, and bank records. I wasn't just betrayed, I was robbed. And the worst part? She was going to do it again. I checked the joint account. A pending charge for 2 tickets to a wine tasting event in Napa next weekend. Guess who's going on another conference? At 9 a.m. sharp, I called the divorce attorney. He didn't sugarcoat anything. Infidelity is messy, but financial betrayal? That's leverage. If she used joint funds for personal indulgence with her lover, that's marital waste. We can use that. He told me to gather everything, every receipt, every message, every screenshot, and bring it to the office Monday. We'd hit her with everything at once. No warnings. No chances to twist the narrative. By noon, I was back in my room, reviewing every bit of evidence I had. That's when something unexpected happened. My phone buzzed. It was Jenna. A text. Hey babe. Miss you. Hope work isn't killing you too much. Can't wait to see you Sunday. I stared at the message, dumbfounded. This woman had no idea I was 20 floors beneath her, watching her fake an entire double life. I didn't reply. 5 minutes later, another message. Wish you were here. This conference is boring AF LOL. Aiden says hi ha ha. I almost dropped my phone. She actually name-dropped him. Like he was just her buddy. Like I didn't know they were screwing behind my back on linen sheets I probably paid for. That was it. I decided right then, I wasn't going to wait until Monday. I was going to crash this little getaway. And I was going to do it with receipts. I waited until evening. I wanted to give them time to settle in. Let them get comfortable. Let her think the coast was clear. At 7:42 p.m., I walked into the Camden Grand like I owned the place. I had room 932 memorized. I rode the elevator up alone. My heart wasn't pounding anymore. It was calm. Too calm. I stood outside the door for maybe 5 minutes, phone in hand, recording. I wanted to hear what was going on inside before I knocked. I heard laughter, glasses clinking, and then him, Aiden. His voice was deep, confident, cocky. Then Jenna's voice, low and flirtatious, said, "Why don't you show me again what you did last night?" I didn't need to hear any more. I knocked. Silence. Then footsteps. Then Jenna's voice, muffled, confused. "Room service?" I stepped back so she could get a full view when she opened it. And then she did. Her face, pure shock. Like she'd seen a ghost. She stood there in a silk robe I didn't recognize, mascara slightly smudged, red wine in hand. Behind her, Aiden sat shirtless on the bed, holding a wine glass and looking at me like I was an Amazon delivery guy who just ruined his blowjob. "Hey babe," I said calmly. "Conference going well?" Jenna dropped the wine glass. It shattered on the floor. Aiden stood up fast, stammering some nonsense like, "This isn't what it looks like." I walked in uninvited. Held up my phone. "I've got everything. The receipts, the hotel charges, the texts, the audio. You two picked the wrong idiot." Jenna was panicking. "Why are you here? How did you save it?" I cut her off. "You've been using our savings to fund your fuckboy fantasy trips? That's cute." Aiden tried to puff up his chest. "Look, man, maybe we should talk outside." "Sit your ass down," I snapped. "This is between me and my wife." He sat. Jenna looked like she was going to throw up. "Please, can we just—" "No," I said. "We can't. You're done." I turned to leave, then paused at the door. "Oh, And by the way, I added, my lawyer's filing the paperwork Monday. Hope he takes you somewhere nice after you're broke. And I walked out. I didn't look back after I left that hotel room. I walked straight out the lobby, into the humid night air, and took the longest breath of my life. I felt nothing. Not anger. Not sadness. Not relief. Just a void where my marriage used to be. I got back to my hotel and turned my phone off. I knew it was going to blow up, and I didn't have the patience for Jenna's lies or crocodile tears. The next morning, I turned it back on. 22 missed calls. 15 voicemails. Dozens of texts. All from her. The first message was pure chaos. Please, I can explain everything. It's not what you think. The second one was a rambling voicemail. Something about being confused, overwhelmed, needing clarity. Then came the blame. If you weren't so distant lately, I wouldn't have needed someone to talk to. That one hit me, but not the way she wanted. I wasn't distant. I was there. I was the one keeping our life together while she played executive wife by day, hotel mistress by night. She begged me not to involve lawyers. Said we could talk it out, work through this, maybe try couples therapy. No, we were way past therapy. She didn't know that I'd already sent everything to my attorney. Financial statements, screenshots of her texts, audio of her and Aiden in the hotel room. It was all ready. We were already in motion. Later that day, Aiden messaged me. Just one line. I didn't know she was still married. Yeah, sure. You don't end up shirtless in a 5-star hotel room with someone's wife by accident. I blocked him. By the end of the day, Jenna's tone had shifted again. Now it was full of desperation. Apologies. Memories. Don't throw everything away over one mistake. But it wasn't one mistake. It was months of lies, gaslighting, and deceit. I texted her one last time. This conversation is over. All future communication will go through my attorney. And with that, I was done. Monday morning came, and I walked into the law office with a folder thick enough to choke a paper shredder. The receptionist asked if I wanted water. I asked if they had whiskey. She didn't laugh. My attorney, Marcus, was a calm, clean-cut guy with a vibe that screamed, I've seen worse. He flipped through the stack of evidence like he was checking a grocery list. Joint account misuse? Excellent. You've got timestamps, receipts, and her text messages. That's marital waste. We're not just filing for divorce. We're building a financial case she's going to have to answer for. Good, I said. She can keep Aiden. I'm keeping the house. Marcus smiled. And maybe more. We went over strategy. I gave him full access to the joint account records, my screenshots, audio clips, everything. He said the judge wouldn't care much about the affair itself. It's a no-fault state. But the financial trail? That was gold. Later that day, Jenna emailed me. Subject line, let's talk, please. I didn't reply. She called from a different number. Left a voicemail pretending like none of it had happened. I just want to talk things through face-to-face. We owe it to each other. Oh, now it's we again. Then came the best part. She tried spinning the story to a mutual friend, saying I had left her, I had become distant, and that Aiden was just a comfort in a time of emotional uncertainty. Right. Just a little comforting. In hotels. With spa treatments and wine tastings. Luckily, I'd already sent our mutual friend the receipts. She didn't reply to Jenna after that. By Tuesday, Jenna finally realized I wasn't playing her game. That's when she texted, if you go through with this, you'll regret it. I'll make sure of that. I forwarded that one straight to Marcus. We were officially at war now. While Marcus was preparing the legal side, I focused on the personal side, dividing property, figuring out what was mine, what was ours, and what she could take and burn for all I cared. I went back home Thursday. She was still at work, or with him, whatever, so I had the place to myself. Our house felt different now, like it had been stripped of meaning. Cold. Too quiet. I walked into the bedroom, opened her closet. What I found made my blood boil all over again. Hidden in the back, behind some winter coats and an old suitcase, was a small zippered bag. Inside, lingerie I'd never seen before. I'm not talking Victoria's Secret. I'm talking professional-grade stuff. Silk, lace, tags still attached on some. Expensive. Definitely not for me. I also found a stash of hotel key cards. At least 5. All different cities. All recent. This wasn't just Dallas. She had been doing this for months. Multiple cities. Multiple trips. God knows how many times she lied right to my face and packed one of those little dresses, pretending she was off to network with clients. Then I found the kicker, an envelope. Receipts. More luxury hotels, jewelry, even a handwritten note that just said, "Last weekend was perfect. I wish I didn't have to say goodbye so soon." It wasn't signed, but it didn't need to be. I took photos of everything and sent them straight to Marcus. He replied with a thumbs up emoji and said, "Keep it coming." By the time I heard her key in the front door, I was already packed up and gone. Left a note on the kitchen counter. "Found your closet treasures. Keep them. You'll need them where you're going." I didn't wait around for the fallout. I went straight to my buddy Derek's place and crashed on his couch with a six-pack and a renewed sense of clarity. This wasn't just infidelity. This was a full-blown double life. And I wasn't done digging. I always assumed her boss, Monica, was a tough, no-nonsense woman. Jenna used to complain about her constantly. Too demanding, too controlling, never understands how much pressure I'm under. Well, turns out Monica might just be the most important person in this whole story. I called her. It was a risk, sure, but I was calm and respectful. Told her who I was. Told her I wasn't looking for drama. Just answers. Monica paused for a long moment and said, "Let me guess. Jenna's told you she's been swamped with conferences lately?" I said, "Yeah. Chicago, Dallas, Miami, all in the last 3 months." Monica scoffed. "She hasn't attended a single official conference this year. We haven't sent anyone anywhere since Q1. Budget cuts. Every trip she's taken, PTO, not work-related." Boom. I asked her, flat out, "Do you know who Aiden is?" Silence. Then, "Yeah, I know who he is. He works with our Denver branch. She met him at a training session last winter. She asked me once if she could collaborate with him on a side client, but I denied it." So what did Jenna do? She used PTO, spun lies about mandatory conferences, took our shared savings and her corporate image and turned it into a fantasy world where she was single, carefree, and sleeping her way through hotel suites with a guy she was collaborating with. I thanked Monica and ended the call. It was surreal. I'd spent years watching Jenna climb the corporate ladder, thinking she was stressed, overworked, underappreciated. Meanwhile, she was creating a second life built on my trust and our money. And now it was all unraveling. By Friday, Marcus had filed the paperwork. Jenna was officially being served. I made sure she'd be at work when it happened. Front desk, middle of the office, no hiding. She texted me 2 hours later. "You blindsided me. You didn't have to humiliate me like that." I didn't respond, because the truth was, she'd humiliated me for months. And now, it was her turn to answer for it. After she got served at work, Jenna went quiet for a few days. No calls, no texts, nothing. But I knew better. That silence wasn't remorse. It was strategy. By Monday, it started. I got a call from our mutual friend, Lisa. "She's telling people you cheated," Lisa said bluntly. "She says you had some online fling, that you were emotionally distant, that you left her no choice but to find comfort elsewhere." Classic Jenna. Twist the knife, then tell everyone you're the crazy one. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was pathetic. I sent Lisa a Dropbox link, time-stamped bank transactions, hotel receipts, the full evidence package. Lisa's reply? "Holy shit. She's done." Within 24 hours, the narrative flipped. Mutual friends started texting me, one by one. "We're on your side, man. If you need anything, I got you. Can't believe she did that to you." One guy, Brian, even told me she'd been bragging about Aiden at a happy hour a couple months back. Said he thought it was a joke until now. Jenna's social support system collapsed almost overnight. She'd built her reputation on being the poised, professional, strong-willed woman with a perfect husband. Now she was the office scandal. And it wasn't even over yet. I got a message from HR at her company. Yep, they reached out. Apparently, there's an internal review underway regarding her misuse of the company card during non-authorized trips. That jewelry purchase? The spa packages? Some of that went on the corporate Amex. Her house of cards wasn't just falling, it was in freefall. I wasn't even celebrating. I just felt done. Exhausted. This was the part no one tells you about infidelity. The emotional carnage doesn't end when they get caught. It just shifts, turns into legal battles, reputation wars, and cleanup duty. But for the first time in a long time, I wasn't playing defense. She showed up at my doorstep on Wednesday. No call, no warning, just there, standing outside my buddy Derek's place like she hadn't blown up our entire marriage. She looked nothing like the Jenna I knew. No makeup, puffy eyes, wearing one of my old hoodies like that would trigger some nostalgic mercy. I opened the door halfway. Didn't invite her in. She jumped straight to the performance. I made a mistake, she said, voice cracking on cue. I was confused. I thought you didn't love me anymore. I thought I had to find that somewhere else. I said nothing. She kept going. I didn't plan for it to go that far. Aiden made me feel seen. And then I didn't know how to stop. I finally cut in. You didn't know how to stop? You took him to Napa. You bought him a watch with our money. You called it a conference, Jenna. She didn't even deny it. Just looked down like a kid caught lying about stealing candy. Then she tried the sympathy route. You don't know what it's like to feel invisible, she said. To feel like you're just playing house with someone who's already halfway out the door. Oh, so I'm the villain now. I asked, actually laughing. You lied. You cheated. You stole. And now you're lecturing me on being distant? Then she flipped the script, again. I'll never forgive myself, she said. But please, can't we just go back? We can fix this. We were good once, right? I looked her dead in the eyes and said, we were good. Until you decided I wasn't good enough. Then I shut the door. She stood there for a while. I could hear her pacing, sniffling, waiting for me to come back out. I didn't. I wasn't interested in her tears. I wanted my life back. Friday night. Derek convinced me to come to dinner with a few friends, just some normalcy for once. He said it'd be chill, low-key, no Jenna talk. Lies. We were 2 drinks in when Rachel, one of our mutual friends, showed up late. She barely sat down before she leaned in and whispered, she's telling people you were cheating on her the whole time. I stared at her. She's what? Rachel nodded slowly, like she didn't even want to say it. She said you had someone on the side, some coworker from IT. A quiet affair, she called it. Derek spit his drink out laughing. Bro, you haven't flirted with anyone since 2016. I couldn't help but laugh too, bitterly. She's rewriting the whole script now, huh? Then Matt chimed in. You know what's crazy? My girlfriend works with Aiden's wife. Or soon-to-be ex-wife. Apparently, she just filed, too. Said she found out about everything when you exposed him. I blinked. He's married? Rachel added. With 2 kids. Like toddlers. The wife had no idea. Derek let out a low whistle. Damn, man. You didn't just nuke your marriage. You blew up his whole life, too. Matt leaned in, whispering. And get this. Aiden's wife is lawyered up. She's got receipts now, too. We all sat in stunned silence for a second. Then Rachel said, you started a chain reaction. I didn't know how to feel. A part of me felt bad for Aiden's wife, for the kids. But another part of me, the part that had been lied to, gaslit, and robbed, that part felt vindicated. Derek raised his glass to fresh starts and well-timed justice. We clinked glasses, and for the first time in weeks, I felt like the storm was starting to clear. But it wasn't over yet, because the next bombshell, it was sitting in my inbox when I got home, and it had Jenna's name on it. When I got back to Derek's place, I checked my email out of habit, just skimming, until I saw her name. Subject, please read this before you destroy everything. It was from Jenna. I should have deleted it on sight, but curiosity got the better of me. The email started with the usual drivel. I know you hate me. I deserve it. But you don't understand everything. There's more to this. I rolled my eyes, expecting more guilt tripping. But then it got interesting. Aiden told me he was divorced. He said his wife was out of the picture and had been for over a year. I didn't know he was still married. Okay, so now we're playing victim again. But it got better. He told me he loved me. That we were building something real. That we'd start fresh once I was free of the mess I was in with you. She actually wrote, the mess I was in with you. No accountability. Just more blaming. Then came the twist. After everything blew up, I tried to reach him. He ghosted me. I found out he's staying with his wife now, trying to save face. He used me, just like I used you. Now that caught my attention. Not because I pitied her, but because for the first time, she actually admitted it. She continued, I know I've lost you. I know I blew up our life. But I wanted you to know that I see it now. I was stupid. I thought I was trading up. Turns out, I was the one being played. You won't believe me, but I did love you. I just didn't know how to stop chasing more. That was the line that stuck with me. I didn't know how to stop chasing more. It summed her up perfectly. Never satisfied. Always needing attention, validation, someone else's spotlight. I didn't reply. What was there to say? She wasn't emailing for forgiveness. She was looking for absolution. But I wasn't giving her that. She could sit in her consequences like I had to sit in betrayal. Because next week, she was finally moving out, and I was changing the locks. The day finally came, moving day. She showed up around noon with her sister in a rental van, dressed like she was heading to brunch instead of packing up the ruins of her marriage. Big sunglasses, tight leggings, Starbucks cup in hand. Like none of this was her fault. I didn't say a word when I opened the door. Just stepped aside and watched her walk in like she still belonged there. Her sister, Laura, nodded awkwardly at me. She knew. Hell, everyone knew by now. The friend groups had split, the story had spread, and Jenna's fantasy had collapsed faster than Aiden's marriage. They started packing her things from the bedroom. I'd already boxed up most of it. Clothes, jewelry, makeup, the designer bag she bought on my dime. I left a sticky note on one of the boxes. Paid for by the fool you lied to. She read it. Didn't say a thing. Until she saw the framed photo on the nightstand. The one from our trip to Banff. Back when we were happy. Or at least I thought we were. She picked it up and whispered, "I don't even recognize us." I stayed quiet. Then came the meltdown. She followed me into the living room. "Are you really okay just throwing it all away?" I looked up from my laptop. "You threw it away. I'm just taking out the trash." She flinched. "I made a mistake." "You made many," I said. "Repeatedly. With someone else. In multiple cities. While using our money. That's not a mistake. That's a lifestyle." She started crying. Real tears this time, not the crocodile ones from earlier. Her sister stepped in. "Come on, Jenna. Let's just go." But Jenna wasn't done. She put the photo back on the table and looked around the house like she was trying to soak it in one last time. "I thought I'd have more time," she said. I stood up. "You've had enough." And just like that, she walked out of my life. No final hug. No dramatic kiss. Just cardboard boxes and broken dreams in the back of a moving van. As I shut the door behind her, I didn't feel pain. I felt peace. A week after she moved out, the house felt lighter. Not quieter. Just lighter. Like I could finally breathe in my own home without choking on resentment. No more pretending. No more guessing games. No more emotional whiplash. I changed the locks that Monday. Switched the alarm code. Even replaced the bed sheets. It sounds dumb, but I didn't want to sleep in the same sheets she used after coming home from those conferences. That bed wasn't just a bed, it was ground zero. I kept the Banff photo. Not because I missed her, but because I wanted a reminder. A reminder of what love looks like right before it turns to betrayal. The divorce moved fast after that. Jenna didn't fight much. She couldn't. Marcus had her cornered with financial records, hotel receipts, even Monica's statement from work. Her own lies boxed her in tighter than anything I could have ever said. We settled in mediation. She kept her car, her personal account, and whatever was left of her reputation. I kept the house, the joint account, and my dignity. Aiden, his wife cleaned him out. From what I heard, he's sleeping on a buddy's couch and trying to keep his job. I'd feel bad for him if he hadn't smiled at me while screwing my wife. Word around town is Jenna's alone now. Aiden ghosted her. Her coworkers avoid her. The girl boss, who thought she was leveling up, just played herself out of everything real. Meanwhile, I'm taking trips again. Solo for now. Banff, Colorado, maybe New Zealand next year. I'm not rushing to date. I'm just rebuilding. Better boundaries. Better peace. Better me. If you're reading this because you suspect your partner is cheating, trust your gut. Dig deep. And if you find the truth and it breaks you, let it. Then rebuild from the rubble. That's what I did. And for the first time in a long time, I feel free.